Ravanata Kora Mokana Taskara Gopi Jana Vastrahari Brajera Kala Gopa Vrindapalo Chittahare Vamsidhare Yogindra Bandhana Srinandanandana Brajajana Payahari Navinani Radha Rupa Manohara Mohana Bamsi Bihari Yashodanandana Kamsa Nishudana Nikunjara Savilasi Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana Vrinda Vipina Nivasi Ananda Vardana Premani Ketana Pulasharayo Jakakana Gopangana Ganachita Vinodana Samasta Guna Ganadama Yamuna Jivana Kili Parayana Manasa Chandra Chakora Namashudaras Goa Krishna Yash Rako Vachana Manamora Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Bala Girid Bharatari Gopi Jana Bala Girid Bharatari Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Munatira cha Hari. Yamuna tira vanachari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nam Namaskar. Saraswatim Vyasa. Nice. We did it already yesterday, so no more. We're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 1, The Activities of Priyavrata, text number 36. Yeah? Sa evam aparimita bala parakrama ekadatu devarshi charanu sayanu patita guna visharga samsargin anirpitam ivatmananam manyamana atma nirveda idam aha da evam parimita bala parakrama ekatal devarshi charanu shayananu patita guna visharga samsargenan nirvritam ivatmanam manyanam atma nirveda idam aha. Vaishnavis. Sa he Maharaj Priyavrat. Evam thus aparimita unparalleled bala strength parakrama whose influence ekada once upon a time two then Deva Rishi of the great Saint Narad Charana Anushayana surrendering unto the lotus feet Anu thereafter Patita fallen down Guna Visharga with material affairs created by the three material modes of nature Samsargena by connection Anivritam not satisfied Eva like Atmanam, himself. Manyamana, thinking like that. Atma, self. Nirveda, possessing renunciation. Idam, this. Aha, said. Translation. While enjoying his material opulence with full strength and influence, Maharaj Priyabrata once began to consider that although he had fully surrendered to the great saint Narad and was actually on the path of Krishna consciousness, he had somehow become again entangled in material activities. Thus his mind now became restless and he began to speak in a spirit of renunciation. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.17, it is said, Takva swadharmam charanam bhajam harer bhajanna pakvota patetato yadi yatrakva bhadram abodhamushyakim kovarta apto bhajatam swadharmata. One who has forsaken his material occupation to take up devotional service to the Lord may sometimes fall down whilst in an immature stage, yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything. If somehow or other does not gain anything, somehow or other comes to the shelter of a great Vaishnava, takes to Krishna consciousness because of sentiment or realization, but in course of time falls down because of immature understanding, he is not actually fallen, for his having engaged in Krishna consciousness is a permanent asset. If one falls down, therefore, his progress might be checked for a certain time, but it will again become manifest at an opportune moment. Although Priyavrata Maharaj was serving according to the instructions of Narada Muni, meant for going back home, back to Godhead, he returned to material affairs at the request of his father. In due course of time, however, his consciousness for serving Krishna reawakened by the grace of his spiritual master Narada. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Srinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brasta Vijayate. One who falls down from the process of bhakti yoga is again offered the opulence of the demigods, and after enjoying such material opulence, he is given a chance to take birth in a noble family of a pure Brahmana or in a rich family, to be given the chance to revive his Krishna consciousness. This actually happened in the life of Priyavrata. He is a most glorious example of this truth. In due course of time, he no longer wanted to enjoy his material opulences, and his wife, kingdom, and sons Instead, he wanted to renounce them all. Therefore, after having described the material opulences of Maharaj Priyavrata, Sukadeva Goswami in this verse describes his tendency for renunciation. The words Devarshi Charanam Anshaya indicate that Priyavrata Maharaj indicate Priyavrata Maharaj, having fully surrendered to the great saint Devarshi Narada, was strictly following all the devotional processes and regulated principles under his direction. In regard to strictly following the regulated principles, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Dandavat Pramanas San Anapatita. By immediately offering obeisances, dandavats, to the spiritual master, and by strictly following the directions, the student becomes advanced. Maharaj Priyavrata was doing all these things regularly. As long as one is in the material world, he has to be under the influence of the modes of material nature, guna visharga. It is not that Maharaj Priyavrata was freed from material influence because he possessed all material opulences. In this material world, both the poor man and the very rich man are under material influences. For both and poverty are creation. Both wealth and poverty are creations. Of the modes of material nature, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha. According to the modes of material nature, we acquire the material nature. The material nature gives us facility for material enjoyment. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raganathan Vitam Tam Sajevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Nitamscha. Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschat Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. So we're hearing about the life of Priyavrata Maharaj, the glorious son of Swayambhuva Manu. Of course, Swayambhuva Manu had two sons, Uttanapada and Priyavrata. So it happened that Priyavrata, as a young man, he had gone to live with Narada Muni, and they were living a life of renunciation in the mountains. However, after some time, Manu wanted to take Vanaprastha. He wanted to leave home, he wanted to retire from his duties. And he wanted Priyavrata to come back and take over the responsibilities. So he had to go there and find Priyavrata and talk to him. However, Narada Muni was telling him, you know, Narada's brahmachari. He said, why you would go back? Don't go back. You'll get involved in material life again. You'll be entangled. Material world, they'll get you married. Better you stay here. So it happened that Manu brought Brahma, Lord Brahma there, and Indra, and they came there and they talked to Priyavrata and they told him that actually, you know, you have to go back. It's your duty. You have a responsibility there. But they reassured him that in course of time, you will be able to, again, devote yourself fully to your spiritual practice. Don't worry. Going back home and taking the responsibilities which are required of you is not eternal. You won't be eternally obligated to these duties. At some point, you will also be able to give them up. So in this way, Narada, because in the presence of Lord Brahma is superior to Narada Muni. He's the guru of Narada, he's his father also. So Narada Muni had to consent and give permission to Priyavrata to go with his father, to go back home and enter into the material life, the worldly duties. He got married. He had children, first wife, 10 sons, I think, and one daughter. Then married a second wife also, 3 more sons, like this. And his big responsibility also. He's overseeing the universe, practically. But after some time, he became, as we're hearing in the verse today, he started to think about it. That previously I was not so much obliged in all of these material affairs. Previously, I was with my guru, Narada Muni, and he gave me so much instructions and so much guidance about how to progress in my spiritual life. And Prabhupada indicates in the purport that although Priyavrata went home, he didn't give up his spiritual practices. He continued to practice what he had been taught by Narada Muni. So Srila Prabhupada refers to the verse from 5th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, where Narada Muni was giving instruction to Srila Vyasadeva, and he quotes this Takva Swadharmam Charanam Bhajam Hare, this verse which describes about how a person may fall down, that he may endeavor for spiritual life, but somehow he's not able to continue the path of devotion. He's not able to keep up his practices. And this is a common phenomena. For example, His Holiness Bhaktivigyan Goswami Maharaj, he oversees the Moscow, or most practically Russia yatra there. And there's a lot of devotees there. But he said, he did a survey and he calculated the average life of a devotee there was 8 years. So indicate, people come to Krishna consciousness, they come for some time, and then somehow things change, different events take place in their life, and they have to make adjustments. It may mean changing your ashram, it may mean changing your situation, your location, moving away from the devotees to some other place, and you lose the contact with devotees. These things happen regularly to many, many devotees. And they may, in course of time, it appears like they've given up Krishna consciousness, that they've gone away. But Srila Prabhupada points out in the purport, he said actually that they may have gone away, but they've not fallen down completely. Because whatever service they have done for Krishna, it's to their eternal benefit. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Neha bikramana shosti pratyavayona vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahatobhaya. That in this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement made on this path saves us from the greatest danger. So a person comes to Krishna consciousness, they take up Krishna consciousness, and whatever service they do for the Krishna consciousness movement, it's to their eternal benefit. It goes into their spiritual bank account. You have a material bank account, that's a different thing. Your spiritual bank account, it goes down, right? Every month, you get your salary, it goes up a bit, and then you start spending, it goes down. Spiritual bank account constantly diminishing. But spiritual bank account, it's eternal. Whatever service you do for the Krishna consciousness movement, it's to your eternal benefit. You never lose that, and that goes on in your next life. Even if in this life we don't continue with Krishna consciousness, we get the opportunity in the next life. This is the fact. So we're encouraged that even though there may be some difficulties in taking up Krishna consciousness, just like Priyavrata, the family, the father was, Swayambhuva Manu, he wants his son to come home. That's a common situation among the Hindu families. The father's very attached to the children, and he always thinks to bring the sons home. Oh, why he has to become a Hare Krishna? Let him come home. I will get him married to the nice girl. And we see, for example, Raghunath Das Goswami. He was another one. Of course, he had a very special family. very, very wealthy, Hiranya and Govardhan Majumdar, they were maintaining all of the Brahmins of Bengal by giving so much charity. And Raghunath was not satisfied at home. He didn't like that life. It didn't appeal to him. And they had him married to a very beautiful, very obedient, loving wife. But he didn't get, it didn't mean anything to him. He wanted to join Lord Chaitanya. He wanted to go with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they tried and tried to keep him at home. They were saying, we will tie him up. But his father said, we have wealth more than Kuvera, and he has a wife more beautiful than Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, and these things can't keep him at home. What good are ropes? So Raghunath came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu told him, don't be a sahaja. Don't take everything so cheap. Go home and behave like a normal person. In course of time, you will be able to achieve your desire. And so it happened. Raghunath had got the instruction directly from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he went home and he took up material life, and his family thought, oh, now he's a normal person. Now he's like us. And they were happy. But then later on, Lord Nityananda came, and Raghunath got permission to go to Panihati and have darshan of Lord Nityananda. And after he got the blessings of Lord Nityananda, then he was able to again take up his spiritual path. So fall downs are common in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said to us one time, because it happened in the course of Prabhupada's presence, people would come to Krishna consciousness and they would do very nice service for some time, but somehow they got into difficulties, and it would be a shock to the devotees. And we'd say to Prabhupada, why Prabhupada, what happened? And Prabhupada would look and say, don't be surprised who goes. Just be surprised somebody stays. Because the material energy is so powerful. It is so overwhelming that anyone can fall victim to Maya. So the material energy is Krishna's energy, certainly very powerful. But if we want to overcome it, certainly we have a very good process. You have to stay alive in Krishna consciousness. You have to continue with the process. And that means association. In relation to this verse from the 5th chapter of the 1st canto, Prabhupada is talking about fall down. And he says, people fall down because of poor association. They lose the association of devotees. And that is a common cause of their fall down. Association is vital to keep us in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada would say 98% of our Krishna consciousness is based on association. So in the purport, Prabhupada gives examples about fall down, and he talks about Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj, of course, had renounced a fabulous empire and a family, opulence and a family. He gave it all up to go to the Himalayas. He went up to Gandoki, and he was up there at Gandoki, and he was doing his sadhana there. But
He didn't have any association. And instead he got association with a deer. And he became attached with the young deer. Because he'd saved the life of a young deer. And he was bringing it up, caring for it. But he became attached to the deer. And no other association was there. And the result was, next life, he took birth as a deer. So he wasted one life. He had to take one extra life in the body of an animal before he could again take up his Krishna consciousness. But whatever progress he had made, he does not lose it. This is the important point, that whatever progress you've made in Krishna consciousness, it's to your eternal benefit. You give some money, it's to your eternal benefit. Krishna notes it. It can make the difference in the future. Prabhupada gives another example in the purport, and he talks about Chitraketu. Chitraketu Maharaj got cursed by Lord Shiva's wife. It was a joking event, but Parvati didn't take it jokingly. And she put the curse on Chitraketu that he should take birth as a Rakshasa or some very low caste person. And of course his next birth, Chitraketu became Vritrasura. But as Vritrasura, he didn't forget his devotion, which he had from his previous life. Because devotion, whatever service, whatever consciousness we have developed in Krishna, we will keep that. It's eternally benefiting us, and it will benefit us. Even though people come to Krishna consciousness and go away, whatever service they have done, it's to their eternal benefit. And it will certainly help them to go on, to continue the path, to continue their journey back to Godhead. That is the plan of the Lord. He arranges these things. Different events happen. Chitraketu got cursed, become a demon. He took birth as Vritrasura. Vritra spread everywhere. Gigantic, horrible form. When the demigods saw Vritrasura, they ran in fear of him. He was so terrifying. But he was a devotee. And when Indra was fighting with him, Indra had great difficulty to kill him because he could understand he's a devotee. Of course, Vritrasura wanted to die. He wanted to get rid of that body. He thought, hey, come on, kill me, because I know where I'm going. I know that I will have the shelter of Lord Sankarshan in my next life. So that is the nature of a devotee. He's not afraid of death because he knows his position is secure. He has the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written nicely, he reasons ill who tell that a Vaishnava dies when thou art living still in sound. A Vaishnava dies to live, and in living tries to spread the holy name around. So this is the devotee. He's thinking like that. He's not afraid of death. Prabhupada was not worried about death. He was only worried about how much he could give Krishna consciousness. And he distributed it profusely. So Prabhupada quotes this verse from the first canto in the purport, and this is Narada Muni chastising Vyasadeva, because he tells Srila Vyasadeva, he said, you've encouraged the people in the path of so-called religion by promising them sense gratification. That was wrong. You should have encouraged them in the path of devotion. Initially, Narada came and he glorified Vyas, that you're so great, you're such a great sage, you've done so much, but you have done this wrong. You made a mistake. You encouraged the people in the path of sense gratification, because Vyasa wrote more about karmakandi activities rather than about devotional activities. He encouraged the people in the path of fruitive activities, performing pious activities and getting material benefit. That is nonsense. That is wrong. Why? Because your material benefits are all temporary. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna chastises people who will worship the devas. Antavat tu phalam tesham tad bhavati alpamedasham. Alpamedasham. Your brain is very tiny. Prabhupada said your brain is like stool, because you are worshipping gods to get things which are limited and temporary. What we should be doing is encouraging people. Narada Muni is telling Vyasadeva, you have to encourage the people to take up the path of devotion. Don't let them waste their time in these material activities. Even though they may fall down, they may say, oh, I'm not ready yet. Oh, I don't know how strictly I can follow. But we encourage people, everyone, everywhere. Srimad Bhagavatam says, akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradi tevrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham puram. Whether one has all material desires or no material desires, or you desire liberation, but still you should worship Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Lord. He should be worshipped. Don't waste your time in these other activities. Even though we have material desires, we can take to the path of devotion. The example is there. Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj had very big material desires. He wanted a kingdom greater than his grandfather. Dhruva Maharaj was the son of Uttanapad. His grandfather was Brahma. Dhruva Maharaj wants a kingdom greater than Brahma. Big material desire. But Dhruva Maharaj was taught by Narada Muni. He taught him, chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, worship the Lord. He didn't teach him anything else. He just taught him the path of devotion. By devotion, everything can be achieved. And if we go off the path, even if we're not able to continue, there's no loss. There's no diminution. Prabhupada quotes a Christian philosopher who says, what does a man profit if he gain the whole world but lose his eternal soul? And that's what happens if you take to the path of materialism, sense gratification. You are killing the soul. Atmahana, described in Sri Upanishad, the killers of the soul enter into the darkest region of ignorance. But if you just do a little devotional service for Krishna, then your life becomes successful. Whatever you can do, you can distribute one book, you can clean the temple floor, you can distribute prasadam. So many different ways we can perform activities for the pleasure of Krishna. And it's to your eternal benefit that we will go on from that point in the next life. We will, even you do only 1% in Krishna consciousness, next life you will continue from that 1%. It's already there. It's to your eternal credit. And Krishna will not forget that. So this Krishna consciousness movement is to make people fortunate, right? We're offering our books there. The pictures are there. Fortunate souls. That is devotion. Anyone who gets the opportunity to do any devotional service, they're the most fortunate soul. Their life is successful. They just have to go on and try to continue. And how to go on? Stay in the association of devotees. Come regularly, take part in the programs, chant and hear about Krishna. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Yes? Yes, Prabhu? Do we have a microphone for the question?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for wonderful session. My question is that few devotees leave Krishna consciousness during Prabhupada time and any other time. So if Krishna consciousness is so much powerful, then how could they leave Krishna or the more practice of chanting all that?
I'm sorry, it's not very clear. I explained what made them leave. You lose the association. You drift away from the association of devotees. And you stop following the process. Just like there was one devotee, he was very senior man. This temple here in Hyderabad, in Prabhupada's time. He was working very hard building the temple. But he was not chanting his rounds. And devotee told Prabhupada, he said, this devotee is not chanting his rounds. Prabhupada said, then in course of time he will leave. Because he's not chanting, he's not following the process. So in course of time he will gradually go away into the material world. You're going to stay in Krishna consciousness movement, you have to practice the process. The process means regularly hearing and chanting. And if you don't hear and chant regularly, then eventually you're going to drift away. You won't value association. You will think association, oh, it's not so important. I can read Prabhupada's book. Like that. So you understand now? So yes, many people come to Krishna consciousness and in course of time, some go away. But it's not a loss. They did some service for Krishna. I know one devotee, he helped build the Krishna Balaram temple. He did wonderful service for Prabhupada. He led devotees, he went to collect money. You know, in 1970s, we didn't have a big congregation here in Hyderabad or any of our temples in India in the 1970s. There were not many people. How did we support the temples? We had to go out every day, and we would go and try to recruit life members, donors. We would distribute books. Like here, this temple, Hyderabad, there were 2 sannyasis, and there were a group of brahmacharis, and they traveled around South India collecting donations and helping to build this temple. So the temple was built, it was opened, it was a much simpler temple. And now, of course, you've acquired all of this land and this building here, over here. So much extensions are there, so many improvements, because 50 years have passed. So very good. You've done wonderful, expanding and develop all of this marble. This is all new here. This has been added in recent time. The new singasans, the beautiful altars. You know, it wasn't like that when we opened the temple in Prabhupada's time. What was it, 1976? Yes, 76. Prabhupada came here, opened the temple. So we had a simple simhasan. We didn't even have a door on the front of the temple. I used to sleep in the doorway at night because there was no door on the temple. So there were devotees, you know, and there were people here, and many have gone. Some have left the body, some are other parts of the world. And they did service. And whatever service they've done is to their eternal credit. And they will go on in Krishna consciousness. We always honor them, the devotees who were initiated in Srila Prabhupada's time, even though they may not be able to keep up the standards, but still, because they did so much service, they gave their years, maybe their youth, they dedicated it to the Krishna consciousness movement. So no loss, great benefit for them. But what would they get if they had not been devotees? What would they have been doing? They would have been in the Maya, total Maya. They would have just been busy in material life. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. But they come to Krishna consciousness. They dedicate some time and energy for the service of Krishna. So we need more volunteers. So many young men are here. You should all volunteer to do more service for the Krishna consciousness movement. It's to your benefit. Whatever service you do, whatever way you can to help and to develop this Krishna consciousness movement, it's for your eternal benefit. But if you don't serve here, then you go other places and you serve the Maya, you serve the material energy. You may think, no, I want to be free. You're not free. That's the illusion. The freedom, nobody is free. We're all controlled. Either you're controlled by Krishna or by Maya. That is your freedom. You can choose. You want to serve Krishna, you come to the Krishna consciousness movement, you're controlled by Krishna. Mahatmanas tumam parta daivim prakriti mashrita. The great souls, they're under the protection of my divine energy. But if you're not serving Krishna, if you're not a Mahatma, if you're not a devotee, then you're serving Maya. Devi esha gunamayi. Very difficult to get free of Maya. You're under the modes of nature. The material energy is controlling you. But you come to Krishna consciousness, you become a fortunate soul. So we all have that free will. You have that choice to make. Krishna gives you everyone that choice. You do some Krishna conscious seva, or you do some service for Maya. All right? We have to consider carefully, make the best use of this human life. It's a rare opportunity. You're so fortunate you have the human body. Very rare to get the human body. There's so many other living entities. But even more rare to get association with devotees. Because in the association of devotees, you can cross over the ocean of material existence. All right? Any other question? Yes, Prabhu has a question over here.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for emphasizing about hearing and chanting and being in association of devotees and serving Krishna. But actually sometimes we get the arguments from people that if you all time serve, then how you will maintain your body, self-preservation? How you will do that? Like that people question. So how we can understand this?
How we can maintain our bodies.
Self-preservation, they say, for self-preservation we have to make money and we have to work hard for like Maya.
Yes, you have to work hard for Maya. Yeah.
So how to avoid that?
Well, work for Krishna. Right? You have to work. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, no one can be idle, not even for a moment. All men are forced to act, helpless. So work for Krishna. We have that free will, Krishna or Maya. Yeah, you have to work, all right. You have family, you have responsibilities, you have duties. You have to work, you have to maintain your family. Very good. But your duty is not only just to provide the food and pay the rent. Your duty is also to teach them the importance of spiritual practice. You have a family, you have to work, you have to make money. Yes, you have to do that. You also have a duty to teach your family about spiritual life and to introduce them to spiritual practice. We don't say you have to come here to the temple. You can do in your own home. In your own home, you can have temple, you can do kirtan, you should do kirtan. The family which chants together will advance together. Right? We encourage everyone, stay together, family life, not a problem if you are Krishna conscious. We want to see more Krishna conscious families. Families together, chanting, worshipping Krishna, offering their food, not only offering the food, but also distributing prasadam, right? Many people offer the food and then they eat, they don't distribute. We're meant to offer we also distribute prasadam, distribute Krishna consciousness. According to your own ability, according to your means, may be limited. Of course, we're all limited what we can do. But to some small extent, try to distribute Krishna consciousness. Just like we're giving books. We tell people, give what you can. You know, somebody, they don't have much money. Do what you can. Give your best. Try your best. So similarly, you have to work and make money. Yeah, everybody needs money. We're also working to make money. We have to maintain the temple. So many people are coming here. We have to arrange prasadam. It's not all free. We have to purchase everything in the market. How to get money? Devotees also have to work. We have to work. We go out and preach. Everything has to be arranged. It takes the hard work, the determination of the devotee. So similarly, family, you have to maintain your family, look after the children, pay for their education, but encourage them also in spiritual practice, regularly hearing and chanting. Not only in the temple, in your home also. You must, in your home, you should have kirtan. You should read the scriptures together, discuss the philosophy. Prabhupada was doing it at home, but there were problems. Even his books disappeared. So he understood, time to go. Better to leave the home. When you leave the home, they will say, where did he go? If you don't leave the home, they'll say, when are you going? If the family are saying, when are you going? That's not very good, right? But if they say, where did he go? Oh, that's good. Okay. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Let us thank Maharaj for his wonderful association by once loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram.